Okay. Hello, guys. Hello, guys. How are you doing? Okay, I'm still trying to set up this streaming. So let me just connect this so that we're good to go. Right. So, okay. So it is a pleasure having you all here. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Oops, seems something is happening here. Not sure why this one isn't going through. What's the stream key? Sorry, kind of new to this. Do I have a stream key? Let me see. Okay, so as I'm live now, nobody is here yet, so I'm just going to just do a little bit of chit chat, and then hopefully others will join me in a good time, right? I'm going to do a bit of chit chat, and then hopefully you guys will join me in good time. And of course, you get the necessary information, right, that should help you to understand the business better, right? So let me see. I'm trying to stream somewhere else. Sorry, kind of new to streaming. I need to get used to this, right? So if you are here, you're welcome, right? If you are here, you're welcome. Your feedback would be appreciated as well, right? Your feedback will be appreciated as well. Okay, I'm just trying to set up one or two things in some other areas so that we could hit the ground running accordingly and all. Okay, so let me try and do this again. And if this doesn't go through, then no problem. I would do without this. I'm trying to stream to another platform, more or less. Okay. Not really sure why it's giving me an error on that other platform. Let me see whether this one will go through. Okay. Live now on CSAFOREX YouTube. Okay. Okay. Sorry for the stalling. Very soon, more or less, I'll just kick off and then start doing some chit chat of my own. Okay, so very soon I'll just start doing some chit chat of my own. Okay, let me see. Okay, beautiful. Okay, I'm good to go over here. This is good. So this one is working here. Let me try and set this up in a few places as well so that we could maximize this. Live now on YouTube. If you are here with me, you can just give me a shout out. We're going to be talking about a handful of stuffs, and I have them written down here so that hopefully I don't miss any of them. Okay, so as I just said now, let me check whether there's anybody here. This is about 5 minutes going into. Just in case you're watching this on a replay, you can always skip to 5 minutes. So once it's about 5 minutes, I'm going to start now. Right? Once it's about 5 minutes, I'm going to start now fully. Right? Whether I can sort this out or not on the other platforms, no problem whatsoever. But I do want a situation where everything is running up to par. If that is not the case, no problem still. We've tried. Let's just proceed. Okay, let me see one more trial. Let me see whether this one will go through. Let's just proceed, and if it does, great. If it doesn't, no problem whatsoever. You guys can always watch this on the replay. So officially, let me welcome you guys here. It's a pleasure having you. My name is Tolu Olatunji. For those that do not know, I am the founder of CSAFOREX, which stands for Common Sense Approach to Forex Trading, and I have been trading for over 10 years. Also, I have been privileged to work for a few brokers, the likes of Forex Time and also Hot Forex. And trust me, I have good information for you that will help you to be profitable at the end of the day, right? So on this live stream that we have here, if you have any question at any point in time, please feel free to comment. As I said, I have a handful of things to talk about. I'm sure you can see the paper here that I'm raising up. So I have a handful of things to discuss, and I would try to slow down the pace so that people could join in good time as well, right? So now, as I said, we're going to be doing a few things. Let me just mention what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be talking about some instruments based on the majors, gold and Bitcoin. We're going to be looking at them based on the intraday perspective, what's happening today. Because today we have later for the economic calendar, we have the you have the CPI, rather. I was about to say the non-farm payroll. We have the CPI, the consumer price index, coming up by 1:30 p.m. UK time. And trust me, volatility should be high during this period. Yesterday, we had the PPI and FOMC, but it was a letdown. It was more or less like the market ignored them and probably most likely waiting for the big one today. And trust me, CPI, if you remember, for those that have been trading for a little while, in August, when the CPI data came out, the movements in the market based on price was so heavy, the volatility was so heavy that it created slippage. And of course, from the slippage, a lot of people had losses across board. When I say across board, I'm talking about for the dollar pairs and also across board for different brokers, right? So some people were blaming this broker or blaming that broker, and then I had to explain to them, it's not about the broker, it's about the market. So you need to be able to understand the market. You need to know how to read and understand the market just like an open book. Don't forget, if you're joining me here live, you can type in the comment section live, so I know that you are here with me. If you have any question, feel free to ask. So as I just said now, I was addressing what happened. That was August CPI, even September CPI last month was also heavy. We have the CPI coming out later today, and we're going to be looking at the market from the intraday perspective for the majors and also gold, majors, gold and Bitcoin. I'll be talking about the dollar yen and also Bitcoin exclusively from the multi-time frame analysis approach that will help you to understand what has been happening to those two instruments. And of course, why did I pick those two instruments? Because a lot of traders have been following them and they're just unique. They are posing opportunities right now as we speak. Then also, I'll be talking about the importance of having a trading structure. What do I mean by a trading structure? You need to have a plan. Just like a foundation, you're trying to build a story building, or you're trying to build your house, you must have a solid structure, a solid foundation. So we're going to be talking about what it entails to have a solid structure, because I've noticed that a lot of people are not trading the proper way. Their trading is anyhow. And if your trading is anyhow, your result is going to be what? Your result is going to be anyhow, right? And that's why a lot of traders are not, they're not making headways today as such, right? So we'll talk about the structure a bit based on the plan and journal. There's a lot to discuss, so I would also try to make it as straightforward as possible. Also, I would talk a bit about the art of trading. I have a method that I look at the market, very simple and straightforward. I call it the ART, A-R-T. The A stands for area of interest. The R stands for the reaction at the area of interest. And the T stands for the trigger, what you're going to use to enter the market. A lot of people complain that they don't know how to enter, how to exit, they don't have a good strategy and so on. So we'll also be addressing that as well. And also, I'll just give you one advice or two, because people have been asking, okay, so how can I get capital to trade? I want to start trading now. How do I get capital? I'm tired of demo account. I need to cross over to live. So these are things that we're also going to talk about, going further. I'm just giving you, the content of what we're going to be discussing. And then hopefully it will be a good one for you and you would stick around till the end. And talking about the end as well, I did I posted on my page on Facebook yesterday about 12 hours ago, and then I was asking how I can assist 1,000 traders. I want to help 1,000 traders to get better at trading. Now, a quick disclaimer, my own personal disclaimer, I'm not the best trader, obviously, and I'm not the worst trader. I'm a decent trader. I know how to make pips, I know how to make money. So I'm going to help you to understand how to make pips and how to make money. Basically, how to make money. Because for you to make money from this business, it doesn't necessarily mean that you need to be trading. There are different ways to make money from the business. So I asked a question, 1,000 how to assist 1,000 traders. And of course, I got a lot of good feedback, and I'm going to share my results so far with those of you here, and also those of you that have been watching it on a replay, so that I get your feedback and see how I can start something. People ask for free. So people said they wouldn't mind paying a token, so that at least they will be serious, and then to weed out those that will not be serious as well. I think that's a good idea, and I'll address that here and also other platforms as well. If you are in Dubai, Fazzaco, they're having the expo now in Dubai, so you can also Google them, Fazzaco, F-A-Z-Z-A-C-O. They're having an expo, a Forex expo in Dubai. So you can visit them, meet your broker. If you have a broker you're trading with, you'll meet your broker, ask your broker questions, and or meet them live, meet the representatives over there, right? Great. So now with that said, let's quickly talk about this dollar yen. You can see the dollar yen that we have in front of us. Excuse me. I like this particular instrument a lot. Why? Because if you look at it from the monthly time frame, I repeat, if you look at it from the monthly time frame, one very key unique thing that jumps at me is the fact that since 24 years, yes, since 1998, that would make it 24 years. 24 years ago, and now price is finally, hitting the 146 supply level. When it comes to trading, remember we said the art of trading, ART, area of interest. You should be able to map out your areas of interest using the likes of support and resistance. I repeat, using the likes of support and resistance. And this is what we have over here, support and resistance trading. So this here was the resistance from 1998, and price is now testing that area here. As price is testing the area here, this year so far, we've had a bullish run on the dollar yen. The dollar has been extremely strong, right, this year. Even from last year, we had this wedge over here. You can see this triangle. We had it. This is the monthly time frame. Once price broke out from here, it didn't look back. It just rushed all the way to 146, 147 area of resistance on the monthly time frame, dating back to 1998, right? So I want us to look at this area very well, because it also poses obviously some selling opportunities. That's why it's called the resistance area. Let's now drop down to the weekly. Remember I said we're going to look at this from multi-time frame analysis approach. That is the dollar, yen, and also Bitcoin. And then from the intraday perspective, I will flip through the majors, gold and Bitcoin as well quickly, for us to take a look at and to see whether there's any opportunity today. Don't forget, I mentioned earlier that later today we have high impact news coming out for the dollar USD. That's CPI, the Consumer Price Index. Very key, very important, right? It comes with a lot of volatility in the market. So this is the weekly time frame. As you can see, the same resistance area here at 146, 147. Now you can see what happened here. Price moved based on this rising flag channel over here, rising channel here, and it has been hitting the upper bands here. It has been hitting the upper bands here. You know, for you to want to sell, you are going against this trend. You are going against this uptrend here. So you are more or less what we call a counter trend trader, a CT trader. So as a CT trader, you need to take it with a pinch of salt because the market can still push higher and higher and higher the more. That's why as a CT trader, you need to have deep pockets. You need to be able to withstand drawdowns. Because in this particular instrument, I can tell you for a fact that we have traders that are fading their positions. I repeat, we have traders that are fading their positions, meaning that they are adding to their negative positions as such. Meaning that based on what we have over here, a trader based on this weekly time frame could have entered here based on these weeks. You can see these week rejections is pushing higher, would have entered the second position here, maybe after 50 pips or 100 pips or whatever, and then probably a third one here and even a fourth one here, even if it hasn't got in there. Why? That is fading, also known as martingale, because the concept now is that when the price eventually turns around, because we have here as a broken resistance, now untested as support. So this is heavily a magnetic area, right? Is an area where traders have pending orders. These are the traders based on position trading, the long-term traders that is, because this is a weekly time frame. So we have lots of traders waiting around the 139.50 area of support here, right? And then as we have pending orders here, the market is attracted to these pending orders like a magnet. So do not be surprised if within a few weeks after this live that is being conducted now, after a few weeks, you now notice that price has now gotten to this point. It's simply based on supply, demand, support, and resistance, and everything is on the charts. I repeat, everything is on the chart. Even if something happens now, maybe a breaking news, maybe there's a breaking news that comes out. A breaking news, you can't get it from any of those news sources, the likes of Forex Factory, BK Assets, and so on. Reuters, Bloomberg. It is only based on breaking news. So even if there's a breaking news that happens right now as we're speaking, and we have a massive bearish candle, so to say, trust me, it is seen on the charts. And of course, the chart is what seeing is believing. So this is from the weekly time frame where people would have started doing their fades based on the weekly. And this is the multi-time frame analysis approach. We drop down to the daily. Beautiful. You can see how things are getting clearer and clearer. I love the way things are beginning to, get better on our eyes because we are doing a drop down time frame approach, right? So from over here, look here, you can see what we have here. You have another wedge. You have a triangle here. Here you had this channel up. Here you had this triangle here. And if you notice something, like when we had this triangle here, it dropped to test this area of former resistance, return to support twice, right? That means that for what we have here as well, if it goes according to plan, even if there's a breach, you can see there was a breach over here, but it's still respected, right? So if it goes according to plan, we should test this 145 area. For me, this 145 area is not that significant. And I don't believe a lot of buyers will be watching this area as such. They will probably be looking forward to this area here, which is the 139.50 that we talked about. So the sellers that are waiting on the daily, that are yet to pull the trigger, they're waiting for this formation, they're waiting for this pattern to complete. Most traders, they have that issue of not, exercising enough patience. And as they're not exercising enough patience, what happens? They are not entering at the right place, right? Meaning that if you wait for this pattern on the daily time frame to occur fully, you can get a sweet entry with fewer drawdown. The drawdown will not be as heavy as that on the weekly. What if you cross over to the 4 hours time frame? Remember, we're doing a multi-time frame analysis approach. On the 4 hours time frame, you can see clearly here that it has broken out of these areas here, which happen to be resistance, right? You can see the trend is up. You know, you can also be a buyer. Don't get me wrong, you can be a buyer, but I'm also trying to show you what traders are viewing from both angles, from the perspective of being a buyer with the trend over here, which is up. You can see on the monthly, on the weekly, on the daily, and also on this 4 hours time frame, the trend direction has been up. So you might also want to buy when the price gets back to this point, but then the price should get back here. And as you get back here, that means that you could be buying with the trend around here. This is around the 145 area, or you could even be around here. You could be looking for buy positions. That is trading with the trend. And against the trend, you would have sellers that are inside here. Look what's happening here. These are 4 hours candles. So over about 24 hours, the market has been stalling. It is stalling majorly because of what? Majorly because of the CPI data that we have coming out by 1:30 p.m. UK time. Please always pay attention to the fundamentals. They are very important at the end of the day. And on the hourly time frame, you can see the trend also has been up. But look at what we have here. You had this box here and it pushed higher. Now we have another box here. As we have this other box here, the question now is, especially based on the CPI, is it going to push higher or is it going to push lower? One thing you could do if you are trying to, to play it safe and you want to sell, you wait for a breakout to the downside, a retest of this consolidation, and it is where you look for entries to sell to take it back down to about the 1.5 area or even lower, right? So there are different ways to place your trades. The traders are having issues with entry and exit. I believe I have just addressed something similar, as I just mentioned now, right? So this is exclusively for the dollar yen. You can see that we talked about the dollar yen, at length, from the higher time frame of monthly all the way down to 1 hour. I want us to talk about the Bitcoin, and then we'll do an intraday session. We'll do a live intraday session now, right? So I'm going to click on the Bitcoin, and the Bitcoin, let's cross over to the monthly first of all, so that we have a solid understanding. On this monthly time frame for the Bitcoin, the father of all cryptos, you can see this is the 18,500 area of support, where the price has gotten to, and for about 4 months has been sitting on this support. I repeat, for 4 months has been sitting on this support. If you look at what happened based in this area here, right, you'll notice that in this area that we have here, it made a top here. This was about 64K, and then it retested with this wick. You can see the wicks showing the rejection over here, and from here it dropped all the way down to the lows of that wedge, and then broke out to 18,500. Excuse me. Now at this 18,500, price has been sitting here for about 4 months now, right? Meaning that has been ranging, consolidating. By the time we drop down to the time frames, lower time frames, you'll be able to see this 18,500 and the consolidation much better. You'll be able to see the ranging much better. So look at this here. If the price should break down lower, where should we be going to? Most likely we're going to be going to like the 12K, 13K, 10K area of demand that we have over here. And if we should push higher, then we should be going back to this area here. I believe this area here should be around 25, 26K over here. But then this is the monthly time frame, and monthly time frame takes a long period of time to materialize. Each candle here is for 1 month. So let's cross over to the weekly. This is the weekly over here. Quickly on the weekly, you can see the area of 18,500 that we talked about that happened to be resistance, and then now is struggling here as support. Is struggling. And then as usual, what is going to happen? If it should bounce, where is it going to bounce to? It might bounce back to this area here, which happens to be like that 25, or bounce to this area of 30. And now trust me, nothing is impossible. So people normally say, no, this is what is going to happen, that's what's going to happen. I always tell traders today that a coin has two sides. I repeat, a coin has two sides to it. So the price could either go up or the price could go down. So if the price should go up, you should be ready for where it is going up to. And if the price should go down, you should also be ready for where the price is going down to. Right? So if it's going to go up, be expecting the 25, 26K as a form of resistance. This year, the trend has been to the downside. Or expect this area here, which is about 30K, this 30K marker that acted as support earlier. It could also be going there if it is going to push higher. And if it's going to push lower, remember we talked about this 10K area from the monthly time frame. But then for you to get an entry, wait for the break and then a pullback to that same 18,500 for you to get an entry to take it down. So whether you are interested in buying or whether you're interested in selling, you should have that clarity on where you want to enter. The ART trading method. A for area of interest, R for reaction to the area of interest. There must be a reaction, right? And then T for trigger. What are you going to use as your trigger to enter the market? Some traders use the likes of these popular candlestick patterns, the likes of the engulfings. It could be bearish or bullish, depending on what you want to do. And also the likes of the hammer. We have the hammer, which is also known as the pin bar, right? And then we have doji, spinning tops. Those ones are not as significant as the engulfing and also the pin bar hammer formation as well. Now on the daily is unique. I want to show you what's happening on the daily, right? Because this is where things are starting to get interesting. On the daily, much earlier, around the July-August period, we had this area here of consolidation, and you can see price broke down to the downside. Now we have this area of consolidation here. As you can see, we have this area of consolidation. Sorry, my hand is not that straight. Let me use another tool. Earlier, I said we had this wedge over here, and as you can see, as we had the wedge over here, it dropped down back to the 18,500. Now we have this wedge over here as well, and the wedge is already sitting at 18,500. If it's going to break to the upside, wait for it to break out of this wedge and then look for a pullback in that same area to try to take it to this area of 26 or 30, right? And then if it's going to break lower, wait for it to break lower, wait for a retest of the other side. Now, when it comes to flip zones are known as areas that can easily act as support and resistance, or rather has acted as support and resistance. So whether it is a buy or a sell you want to do, I always tell traders it's advisable to follow the trend, follow the fresh waves. That's why some traders using the Elliott waves, they do their counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, ABC. If you're an Elliott wave trader, you're watching this, I'm sure you would understand what I'm talking about exactly. So this is the Bitcoin from the daily time frame, showing you what is happening now presently. So if you're a crypto trader, also take note that apart from this happening on Bitcoin, it is also happening on other cryptos. You can check the Ethereum and also popular Dash and the rest of them. Well, I believe Luna is still flat. You know, Luna was the one that crashed heavily, I think about 4 months ago, and a lot of people lost a lot of money. For you to protect your money, let me just add this here. For you to protect your money, to protect your account, please ensure you are using visible stop loss and then you are calculating your risk management appropriately. Very key, very, very important. Now, quickly on the 4 hours time frame, you can see we have this area as support. You can see it has heavily been acting as support over here. This is the 18,500 that we're talking about. So if you want to buy, you can wait for it to test here. Look for your price action trigger. That is the trigger, price action trigger. And then look for buy opportunities, or wait for it to break out and then retest for opportunities to sell. So this is the 4 hours time frame. You can see that I'm giving you the two sides of the coin, because some of you might be CT traders, that is counter trend traders, while some of you might be trend traders, right? And then on the hourly is looking very, very dirty. You can see it's just looking like a sideways market. And then I said for the dollar, yen, and Bitcoin, I'm going to do a multi-time frame analysis approach, which is a top-down approach, which is what I have just done for dollar, yen, and then Bitcoin, exclusively from the monthly time frame all the way to the hourly time frame. Now I'm going to do something for you where you can get possible opportunities today. Yes, today. And today, when I say today, that means that we're looking forward to either scalping or intraday. I'm not a scalper, so we're going to look at it strictly based on the intraday perspective. Once again, for those just joining, I want to also say that we have key data coming out today. I repeat, we have key data coming out today, and that is for CPI, the Consumer Price Index, coming out by 1:30 p.m. UK time. I repeat, 1:30 p.m. UK time. So around that period, expect high volatility to be introduced to the market, right? So that is that for the fundamentals. Fundamentals is easy, it's straightforward. You can always visit the likes of Forex Factory, right? You can always visit the likes of Forex Factory. I'm going to flip over to Forex Factory quickly. Let me just flip over to Forex Factory so that we can just look at that and understand much better what we are talking about exactly. So now you should be able to see Forex Factory on your screen now. I like Forex Factory a lot. It's easy, straightforward. It doesn't waste my time, and that's how trading should be. I should be able to come, look at my charts, check the fundamentals, and then decide within the next few seconds to few minutes to know whether there's any trading opportunity today or not, right? Over here, 1:30, as I said, UK time. For the USD, you can see we have the CPI, very key data, is a key economic indicator based on how the US economy is doing, right? Of course, we all know that the topic of the year, let's say the topic of the year has been inflation and also recession, right? There have been talks whether they're in recession or not in recession, but at least everybody, we're all aware of inflation. And apart from the Fed, we're also aware of the other central banks, the likes of the ECB, Bank of England, where they have been hiking rates, you know, in order to curb the rising rates of inflation globally. And of course, other things that have been happening in the world. Sorry, I'm not sure why I keep on scratching my nose. Not sure why it's scratching me today. Sorry about that. Right? So we have other things that have been happening in the world, the likes of the war in Ukraine. There I go scratching my nose again. Right? With the likes of the war in Ukraine, it has been ongoing since February 24th. That's about, I think, about 8 months. It's going to be almost 8 months. That's 24th of February, if I'm not mistaken. And of course, from the war, it has, been, getting to different levels with respect to the conscription from Russia, calling citizens to come and fight, citizens, taking off, leaving Russia, also annexation of a few regions in Ukraine, and of course, Ukraine forces taking over those regions again. And recently we had about, I think yesterday or 2 days ago, there were about 80 missiles fired from Russia. The war still goes on, and most likely it's not going to end this year. And even apart from that, all of these things based on inflation, the war, and so on, is affecting gas prices. Obviously, the gas prices are to the roof, and of course, food prices too to the roof, rentals, housing, real estate also are shooting up and all. These things, let me just add this here, please take note. These things are far from over. I repeat, this is far from over. It is obviously going to still spill till next year. So this investing, trading is one of the best areas to be in today, especially if you are from a region like Nigeria, where the exchange rate, listen to this, where the exchange rate keeps on appreciating. The exchange rate between the $1 to Naira is about $1 to 700 and something, maybe 720 thereabout Naira. it has been appreciating. Most likely, it might still appreciate more, right? Especially based on other factors happening in Nigeria, the likes of the insecurity, electricity, things that corruption and other things that are happening in Nigeria, and so on. Now, if you were to go into this business today and you start making money in dollars, where the exchange rate is 700 plus, and it goes up, it is going to favor you because the conversion rates, obviously. And one thing I also tell traders today is that your salary is not going up. I believe we understand that aspect. Let me switch back to the charts. We're going to go back to the charts and look at the intraday majors, gold, and Bitcoin, right? So as I was just saying now, your salary is not going up. So as your salary is not going up, your inflation, let me just tell you what inflation means. Inflation simply means that your 1 million naira today is losing value very fast. If your 1 million naira could get you a car, right, yesterday, today, that 1 million naira cannot get you a car anymore. The value probably has dropped to 100,000 naira. So to say, it keeps on dropping. That's inflation for you. So that means that you need to make more money, and not just more money, but more money in dollars, in foreign currency. Simple. So quickly now, let's look at the intraday so that we can look for possible trades that we can take advantage of. Let's look for possible opportunities in the market that we might be able to take advantage of, right? And I'm going through, I made a list of things to talk about so I don't forget. So you might see my eyes dropping down. I'm looking at the list so I don't forget them. And of course, based on where we stop, we'll stop and we'll do more of these lives to help everybody out. When I say help everybody out, I'm going to also talk about the 1,000 trades traders assist that I posted on my FB page, and I got a lot of comments, feedbacks, and all. And I'm going to share that with you that you are here, those that are watching on the replay, and then see how we can help everybody out without an exception, right? So quickly now, this is what I'm going to show you what's happening now intraday. This is the 30 minutes. Remember I said for intraday within today, excuse me, we'll focus on either 30 minutes or 1 hour. Anything below 30 minutes, anything below the 1 hour, 30 minutes becomes noisy. That's scalpers. So if you're interested, you can scalp, no problem. Then go ahead. Well, from over here, this Euro USD from the 30 minutes time frame, you can see that we are boxed here. And of course, the trend here has been to the downside without a doubt. Excuse me. Euro USD has been tanking and falling this year and has even dropped below parity. And I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard about that below parity. Now, apart from that, it's now moving sideways. As it's moving sideways, I'm just going to show you one or two things that could happen. Look at what we have here. We have this little breakout from this here. So the market could as well drop to retest this and then push higher back to the highs of this range, or could even push higher, retest here and then push higher as well. This is what I would like to see if you're looking forward to buying today. Please pay attention. It's intraday. Looking forward to buying. This is what I'd like to see. But CPI is coming out approximately 3 hours from now. So you can use your time zone to relate 3 hours from now. You can check the price factory. The CPI data will be out. And most likely, it might destroy this area. You might have some whipsaws. You might have some heavy wick movement showing heavy buying or whatever the case might be around here. So most likely, if I don't get an entry anytime soon, prior to that 1:30 UK time, I'm just going to be observing, I'm going to be viewing, or I might just walk away from my system, because a lot can happen. And this is how traders are crashing their accounts. This is how traders are blowing their accounts today. If you are guilty of what I just said, you can leave me a comment and I will help you to avoid crashing your account, because a lot of people are struggling, and it is for us to help ourselves out one way or the other. And that's what I'm talking about here as I keep on flipping over to my notes. So if you're able to see the paper I'm holding, right, flipping over to my notes to help us to understand better what we're discussing and based on the 1,000 traders assist as well. So this is Euro USD. Now moving over to cable, this is GBP USD. As you move over to different instruments, right? Remember I said the majors, gold and Bitcoin, looking for opportunities. You're going to now see the ART, ART, the area of interest, the reaction, and then the trigger. I'm going to explain this to you. I also do this also in the mentorship. I run mentorship for a month, 4 weeks period and all, to help people to fully read and understand how to read and understand the market, just like an open book. So if you look at what we have right in front of us, look very close, and I'm going to use the ART to explain to you. This is an area of support. I do hope you guys understand support and resistance. You could check the YouTube channel. I believe I've done a video on support and resistance that you could watch for free, help you to understand how to map out your areas, especially if you're a beginner, right? So here you have form of resistance. You had a resistance here, even with this big pullback, resistance. You can see presently, right now, as we are talking, it is presently over here. But then you can see the reaction is reacting here gradually. You can see it's stalling here, but you don't jump in. I don't always advise traders to jump in based on the reaction, but I would advise you to jump in. Based on the trigger, meaning that over here you want to sell, right? Because this is for you to sell at this area of resistance, to sell back down to the lows here, right? Where you can make a few nice hundreds. I think close to 200 pips, if I'm not mistaken. You can use the cross here, from here to here, that's about 215 pips thereabout. So you can make 215 pips from the GBP USD today. That's what we said intraday. And if you make money from this, our discussion, pay your tithes. See me off camera after. But please do not use this as a form of signal. I'm explaining what to look out for so that you can take advantage. So based on the trigger, what you would like to see here, what I would like to see here, would be probably a bearish engulfing, or a bearish pin bar, or a bearish hammer, right? I'd like to see either of those three formations here, right? The hammer and the pin bar are the same, so I'd like to see either of those two formations here for me to pull the trigger with my stop loss above. When you pull the trigger, maybe you enter here, your stop loss will be above slightly here, your take profit will be here. You can see the risk to reward ratio. This here is the big R. I'll call this the big R, which is the reward. Here is the small r, which is the reward. The risk to reward ratio is absolutely fantastic. It's probably like 1 to 5 or 1 to 6 just by eyeballing it. So this would be a good one for GBP USD. Please take note, CPI data is around the corner. You don't get your trigger on this, leave it alone. Don't force anything, and don't forget to use your stop loss. Stop loss is very key to protect your account. Now, this is the AED USD. AED USD still moving sideways, not loving the pattern here. And then the NZD, the Kiwi, beautiful. The Kiwi similar to the GBP USD that we looked at now. Support, resistance, and resistance here. And then over here, we're looking now for trigger, right? You can see, if you look very well over here, you can see there was a trigger here, and this was the bearish. Just in case you don't know, this is the bearish hammer, bearish pin bar that we had here that went down, that have given you some nice pips. Even though it didn't get to the bottom, that means that you just need to know how to manage your trades as well. It's not just about placing trades. That's why I talked about the structure, the trading structure earlier. When it comes to the trading structure, it's not just placing trades, but you place your trades, and then you must what? You must manage your trades appropriately. Trade management is also very key. You can do trading stop, partial close, move your stop loss to break even, and so on. The different ways to manage trades. Of course, I can't talk, at length about all of them here, but this is just to give you an idea that this would have been giving you some nice profits, and then you even have another opportunity to jump in again, maybe if you took you out a stop loss or whatever the case may be. Simply wait for that trigger, either the bearish engulfing or the bearish pin hammer. Let me clean this up quickly. Let's move over to the next one, the dollar Swiss. Looking at the dollar Swiss, let me just Now, you can see there's nothing on the chart. I like this one. Let me do something for you guys. There's nothing on the chart, but I want to do something for you. I'm going to do some markings over here. If you look at the area over here, there's an area here of highs. You can see some highs here acting as resistance where this dropped as well. Then if I continue to do some markings as well, just by looking at it, most times I don't need to put anything on the chart. Most times just by eyeballing it, I already know what the price is doing and what I want to do as well, right? So this is what I'm doing over here. If you look at what I'm doing, you have a better understanding already. So looking at what price is doing here, if you are a CT trader, counter trend trader, you would have been looking for sell opportunities here. Don't forget your trigger. Or if you want to buy, you can look forward to buying over here intraday, right? Meaning that you want price to come down, you get your trigger, and then you take it back up, right? But don't forget, I'll still be reminding you over and over that we have CPI data coming out later today. So you need to be careful as well. This is intraday for the dollar Swizzy. As you can see, we're talking about the 30 minutes time frame. The dollar yen, you know, we talked about the dollar yen at length, right? From the monthly to weekly to daily, 4 hours and the 1 hour. So this here, 30 minutes time frame, you can see 30 minutes time frame, 30 minutes time frame. This here on the 30 minutes time frame is giving us the intraday, what we're looking at now for today. And so far, it is ranging, as we can see over here, right? So that means what? Most likely, we should have a breakout soon. And this is CPI. CPI, if it's going to go to the downside, I'd like to see a break to the downside, right? A break to the downside here, a retest of this area, and then a further drop. And if it's going to break to the upside, a breakout here, a retest of this highs, and a push higher. But don't forget, while we talked about the dollar yen at length, I said for me, it is overbought, clearly overbought. We have divergence. It's not just even about putting the RSI MACDs. Clearly, you have divergence there. So most likely sellers should come into play. So I would be looking more for selling opportunities. And if the dollar, right, prior to CPI, if the dollar comes out bearish, heavily bearish, then you know the direction to go for the dollar yen as well. You should be bearish on the dollar yen. The dollar card, this is the dollar card over here. You can see also we have these highs over here, right? Always good for you to understand support and resistance. Here, resistance, as you can see, bunch of resistance here. Look over here. I'm just seeing bearish engulfing here. If you look properly, here we have some support areas here. Support. So if the price should get back here, look for buy to take it back up. CPI data too around the corner, right? And then gold as well. Gold has been ranging, as you can see quickly. Gold has been dropping, but now ranging. And then Bitcoin from 30 minutes ranging as well. So this was just a quick one based on the intraday. Let me flip back to this so I don't really miss out on anything. And we'll be rounding up this live shortly. I hope that it has been valuable to you guys. I hope it has been of value to you guys. You can let me know in the comment section as well if you've gotten value from what we have been discussing, right? So now let me see any other thing to discuss. Yes, quickly, to help 1,000 traders, you know, the assist. A lot of people ask for a lot of things. I'm just going to, I put them here on my Excel. A lot of people ask for free technical analysis training, just like what we've talked about here. So people were even asking for funding capital. I'm so sorry, I don't have money to give out to everybody. What I have that I can give is my knowledge, and that's what I'm going to give, and that's what I'm going to give to everybody. So people ask for free mentorship, or people ask for access to me always. And this is not even possible. My wife cannot even have access to me always, right? Obviously, she's not here with me now, right? So live trading session, we just had like a live trading session here now, but just a few people are here with me watching. And then some people asked for something and then they explained, which I liked. Some people said training with affordable fee. That means that they don't mind paying a token. The people even said like a Telegram group or WhatsApp group, right, for a token as well. I like the fact that some people were saying for a token. Some people said for free, right? Some people said free training. Some people said free mentorship. Training could just be for one day. Mentorship could be for more than one day. And as people said that they don't mind paying something, a token for a training or mentorship, right? And I like that. And as I would like to help 1,000 people, right? I think putting a token should be good. Let's weed out those that will not be serious, those that will probably sign up and not, attend, or those that will sign up, attend, and not make use of it. If you pay a token, whether it's $5, $10, $20, or whatever token it might be, it will most likely be something small where it will not inconvenience anybody. So you most likely pay a little token. I'm still scratching my nose. I don't know why, right? So you pay a little token and then you get value. I'm going to do something for everybody, right? I'm still looking at my paper here, right? If you don't get value, right, I'll refund you your money. It's going to be of guarantee. It will most likely be for more than one day. I'm going to still post this up here, there, talk about it some more. But if you're interested, comment, let me know what you think so that I can schedule something for everybody. And then we'll see how that will go, right, to help everybody out at the end of the day, right? So we'll do that for you, right? So that's just to help 1,000 people. People were asking for different things, trading sessions. I have a course as well. I have a course that covers everything from the beginning to the end, as A to Z, how to manage your trades, how to pick entries, exits, different ways to make money, the fundamentals, technicals, even on the software, how to use the software from the beginning to the end, right? So we could even include that. We could include a lot of things for that little duration to help everybody out, right? So in as much as I want to help 1,000 people, I want to help 1,000 people that will take it seriously, right? So that is that for now. And with that said, on that note, I want to say thank you guys for attending. There's been a pleasure. I want to say, don't forget to subscribe. Yes, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, right? It helps me to grow. And then also turn on the notification that when next I'm live, right? I could just go live anytime. You get the notification and then you join me. It could be an intraday session. As I said earlier, the news coming out for today's CPI is about 1:30 p.m. UK time. Who knows? I might go up 1:15 p.m. Yes, I just might go up 1:15 p.m. prior to the news, and we look at the news together and we look at the reaction. I might as well do that, right? To bring people up to speed on how to look at the news. I'm not saying how to trade the news, how to pay attention to the news, because people are trading the news directly, and of course, it is working against them where they're having heavy losses or even crashing their account, right? So with that said, I want to say thank you guys. If this live has been good for you, right, whether you are here live or you're watching it on the replay, I want to say thank you guys for joining me. And of course, I would love for you guys to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification, give this stream a thumbs up. You can also share it with others. And then from what we've discussed on the charts intraday, let's see how today plays out and whether we can get any opportunity in the market. Remember, we looked at a few that are ripe for now, like the pound USD, the cable. We also looked at the kiwi as well is ripe. A few of them are ripe for now. A few of them might be ripe later, ready for plucking, ready for trading, and then we'll take advantage. So I want to say thank you guys. Do enjoy the rest of the day and catch you at another time. Cheers, guys.